What's going on, YouTube? We're here with another 3 Rounds with Jay. This is the second episode, and we've got some big shit to talk about today. What happened on UFC 229? My goodness, was that an event or was that an event? These two men went to war, but I don't want to give that all away right away in the beginning. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. On top of UFC 229's aftermath, we're going to be covering Bellator. Bellator has a big event this weekend, 2 big events this weekend. They got Bellator 207 and Bellator 208. Bellator 207 is going to be headlined by Matt Mitrione taking on Ryan Bader in the second round of the Bellator heavyweight tournament. Following night, Bellator 208, it is the American gangster Chael Sonnen taking on the Phenom, the last emperor, Fedor Emelianenko, in the next round of the Bellator heavyweight tournament. I got my words all twisted there. This is going to be some big stuff. This weekend, there are some incredible fights, and we're going to break them down. We're going to do them correctly, and we're going to do them in 3 rounds of Jay. Let's get in the computer, and let's talk about it. Alright, so we're in the computer. What a wild weekend this was. An incredible weekend. Something the UFC should be proud of. They put on some incredible fights. The co-main event, first of all, from top to bottom, was the fight of the night. Anthony Pettis and Tony Ferguson put on an incredible battle between 2 men who are unafraid to stand and trade for 2 rounds. For 2 rounds, they knocked each other's brain cells across the room. I've never seen anything quite like it. At one point, Anthony Pettis started to scream while he was in Tony Ferguson's full guard as he landed punches. This is something that's unprecedented in the sport. You don't really ever get to see someone just enjoying that. That's an animalistic. That's something that's natural and in a part of their nature that you don't get from many fighters. And to see Anthony Pettis do that, you got the sense that he was truly enjoying himself for the first time in all his fights. And at the end of the day, Tony Ferguson came off with the victory, as I predicted. Tony Ferguson finished the fight by corner stoppage. Turns out at the end of the day, Anthony Pettis had broken his hand and was unable to compete, so the corner decided to put an end to that fight. It was the right decision in the end. If Anthony wasn't going to be able to go on the way he should go on, you don't want to be fighting a guy like Tony Ferguson at even 50%. Tony is a guy you go in there at 100%. And even at 100%, he's going in there to do harm. The rest of this card, what do we have? We had Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis knocked out Alexander Volkov in the last 10 seconds. How incredible is that? And not only did he knock him out, at UFC 230, in less than 1 month, he is now fighting Daniel Cormier, the 2 division, the only UFC 2 division champion. He will be taking on Daniel Cormier for the UFC heavyweight title. This is something that is phenomenal. November 3rd, November 2nd, I'm unsure which one of those days it is, but at UFC 230, it is Daniel Cormier taking on Derek Lewis for the title. Wow, who would have seen this coming? Now, with all that said, let's get on to what we're here for. What happened at UFC 229? What the hell went down between Conor McGregor and Khabib? I did say that Khabib, in my prediction, I did say there is a good chance that Khabib will demolish Conor McGregor. He will take him down, he will have his way with him, and there is not a goddamn thing that Conor will do. And that's exactly what ended up happening. That's as you saw as we were kicking it off and I was breaking down what happened in the first 2 fights, the co-main and the Derek Lewis fight. You saw the footage. You saw Conor McGregor tap. He tapped to a very questionable rear naked choke, to be quite honest. It wasn't really tight under his neck. He had it somewhat, just enough that it was hurting him. Conor was tired. He couldn't keep up. He couldn't keep up with that wrestling, and he tapped out at the end of the day, as he always does. I'm not trying to turn this and be mean about it, but Conor has been known to tap. Hell, he's tapped in his last 4 fights where he's been taken to the ground. So just that should tell you something. But what happened afterwards? What was that? We have never seen that in the sport before. We've seen brawls at other events with the Diaz brothers. We've seen brawls in the hospital with the Diaz brothers. We've even seen Conor McGregor jump the cage and get in Jose Aldo's face. We've seen Conor McGregor push a referee. We've seen all sorts of things. But to see a fighter jump the cage and to go after another man in the name of Dylan Dennis, Conor McGregor's jiu-jitsu coach, that, my friends, that is incredible. That is something that you can tell that there was some truth behind. That he was not playing around. This was a fight where he was going to smash Conor. When he was done, he was going to take out the rest of the team. And he did that as one man alone. Jumping over the cage and into Conor's corner and going right after Dylan Dennis. There was nothing that could have stopped him. The security was there. Everyone was prepared. But what the hell happened? What happens next now? Conor McGregor has indeed and Khabib have been suspended until October 25th, where they will have a hearing with the commission, and they will ultimately make a decision on what comes next. Will they be suspended indefinitely? Will they be fined all their pay? As of now, from what we've been told, Khabib has yet to be paid for his UFC 229 fight. He is also asking that if the UFC does not pay him and does not reinstate his fellow teammates, friends, and family, he is willing to walk. He does not want to fight for an organization that allows Conor McGregor to go around attacking a bus and get away with it. He does not want to fight for an organization where you could just do whatever you want and they're not going to stop you. What sense does that make at the end of the day? If you're not going to do something to help your own fighter out, to stop your fighter and to protect your fighters, why fight for you? Why should I even bother putting my life at risk for you? And these are very valid questions on Khabib's part. Khabib wants answers. Khabib wants to know. Khabib wants to understand, where is the line drawn? Who do you favor more? Do you favor Conor McGregor, or do you favor your fighting champ who has not done anything wrong? He's been a team player from the beginning. Since day one, Khabib has been a team player. We'll see what happens next. This is really in the hands of the Nevada State Athletic Commission. And if we've seen anything from the Nevada State Athletic Commission, is they're more or less likely just going to take all their money and screw them around. They're not going to give a damn about what happened. They're not even going to want to listen. They've already got their mind made up, and this hearing that they're going to have is just going to be that. Now, this is not good for the sport. This is truly a black eye. This is not what you want to be seeing. You don't want people jumping the cage. You don't want people going after each other. This is not what is necessary. At this point, if this is what's going to happen, everyone's going to start jumping the cage. Where's the security? How were these people able to jump? Was everyone so preoccupied that they were all on Conor McGregor? I mean, Khabib, when he jumped the fence, that no one bothered to pay attention to the cage? Was this another scenario of The Dark Knight Rises, where all the police apparently happens to go underneath the subway to try and find Bane, but then they happen to be trapped? It's stupidity at its finest. This was something that was poorly managed from the beginning with the bus attack. So the UFC, at the end of the day, you should not be surprised by what just happened. You let this happen. You allowed for these fighters to go to this extreme. You allowed that these fighters, this could happen, and you didn't even offer any sense of not remorse is the word I'm looking for, but you didn't care enough to present a punishment. Present the punishment for Conor McGregor's actions. Instead, you saw money, you saw bills, and you decided to put him in a title shot. You decided to put a criminal in a title shot. If I were to go on the street and attack a bus right now, I guarantee you I'd be spending millions of dollars, probably not millions, but I'll be spending thousands of dollars trying to keep myself out of prison. Something has to be done here. Rules have to be set. A precedent has to be taking place. If you gotta fire both men, or if you gotta suspend both men indefinitely, do what you gotta do. It hurts the business. They're both exciting fighters. I love watching both of them. But at the end of the day, we've gotta find a common ground on what is allowed and what isn't. Do we want to see fighting, or do we want to see some WWE theatrics? I'm down for the WWE theatrics, as long as no one is injured in the process. Let's go to round 2. Now let's talk about tonight's fights. I know it's a little close to tonight. Most of you are going to be watching this. The fight will have probably taken place, or the event may have passed. But let's talk about tonight and how important it is for Bellator. We've got Bellator 207. First fight of the night, we've got Baby Slice, and he is taking on Corey Browning. This is Baby Slice. For those of you who don't know who he is, this is Kimbo Slice's son. He is in the MMA world. He lost his first fight, but since then he has been 3-0 and he has been knocking people out. His wrestling, much more improved than his father's. His opponent he's taking on, Corey Browning, he's 3-2, so this is a fight that makes sense for Kimbo Slice. This is a fight that Kimbo Slice should technically win, due to the fact that he's facing a guy at the same level as him. At the end of the day, is every fight dangerous that Kimbo Slice takes? Yes. Anyone can pose a threat to him, but he has got the power of his brother. He trains out of an incredible team. His father, I apologize, I call him his brother. Out of Kimbo Slice, he has got the same power and the same technique. He can knock people out cold. But training out of ATT, he's got that takedown. He knows how to wrestle. He knows how to wrestle more than his father did. So this makes it a very interesting fight. At the end of the day, it comes down to what will Kimbo Slice do? What will Baby Slice do? Will he stand with him? Will he try and take him down? Or will the guy come with an incredible game plan? Will he try and take him down? These are questions we're about to find out, but if I was to be a betting man, I think Baby Slice, he's looking good, he's looking sharp, and he's looking prepared. It's a 155-pound fight. They are fighting in the lightweight division. It's going to be some fireworks. It's going to be some fun. And it's going to be the second fight on the card. Moving on from that one, we've got a welterweight Grand Prix alternate fight. For those of you who watched the welterweight Grand Prix which commenced on the Gegard Mousasi versus Rory MacDonald card, you got to see Douglas Lima moving on to the next round. Tonight we've got an alternate in case one of these guys in the tournament get injured. It'll be Lorenz Larkin taking on Ion Pascu. Lorenz Larkin, formerly UFC fighter, contract ran out, signed with Bellator, got himself a title shot against Douglas Lima. He lost, unfortunately, and since then he has been looking to make it back in the division. He's been looking to climb up those ranks. He wants to prove that the losses he has suffered so far in the Bellator cage do not matter, and they were just a mistake and just a part of his ring rust and inability to get used to the difference in competition and fighters. Ion Pascal, 18-8, he is looking to show Lorenz Larkin that this is my world. Bellator is Bellator. UFC is UFC. You came from the big leagues. I'm here to go to the big leagues. I'm here to move on in the tournament. And I am here to become the next alternate in case someone gets hurt and to take that championship belt. So this is going to be an incredible fight. It is a man who is in a must-win situation in Lorenz Larkin, and it is a man in Ion Pascal who is looking to play spoiler to Lorenz Larkin. Who takes this? I'm going to have to sign with Lorenz. I think he's got a lot more to offer. I think his skills and his diversity are going to prove to be too much for Ion Pascal. Sorry. But we're going to come down. We're going to see tonight. There's a 170-pound fight. Lorenz is 5'11". Ion Pascal, 5'9". There is a height differential right there. There's a lot of different moving parts here. Who's going to take it? Lorenz Larkin. That's my pick. So let's move it on. We've got a lot more to move through. We got the co-main event. It is Roy Nelson. He is coming back to fight. He is 23-15, former UFC fighter. He has had many incredible fights in his career over the UFC. His last loss, I believe, came to Derek Lewis. He may have fought before that, but he is one of the men who is on Derek Lewis's just straight up murderer's row. Roy Nelson, he is taking on Sergey Karatinov. This man is no joke. He is 26-6, and he is looking to knock out Roy Nelson. He is looking to put an end to Roy Nelson. Roy Nelson has been knocked out a total of probably 2 times that I can remember for sure. Mark Hunt was the first man to ever dethrone him. But Roy Nelson is no joke on the ground leader. He is a jiu-jitsu specialist who has never shown it. The only time he's shown his ground game was against Derek Lewis, and he lost in decision. But Roy Nelson, knowing his style, knowing his game plan, he's going to come to knock him out. He is going to come to stand and bang with Sergey Karatinov, and where this fight takes place and where this fight goes, I think someone's hitting the canvas. I think someone's getting knocked out in this fight. I just don't see how either of them are going to stand. Roy Nelson's chin has been taking a beating over the last couple of years. Sergey Karatinov, his chin has not taken the power that Roy Nelson is about to deliver onto it. Who's going to win this fight? I'm going to have to side with the Russian. I'm going to have to say Sergey Karatinov. He is going to take Roy Nelson out. And he is going to just prove to the world that he should have rightfully so been in this tournament. Roy Nelson was in the tournament. He happened to have gotten eliminated by Matt Mitrione in a close decision. So Roy Nelson's looking to rebound off that loss. Roy Nelson is looking to rebound off the losses that he has suffered throughout his career. It's going to be a stand-up battle. It's going to be a battle of who takes who out first. It's 3 rounds, 5 minutes. Who's going to win it? Who's going to go down? I'm picking Sergey Karatinov. I don't know who you're picking, but we're going to see who's right tonight. And now we're moving on, ladies and gentlemen, into the main event. The Heavyweight World Grand Prix semi-final matchup. It is Matt Mitrione taking on Ryan Bader. 2 former UFC fighters. Ryan Bader is the current Bellator light heavyweight champion of the world. He is the current light heavyweight champion of the world. He knocked out King Mo to move on to the semifinals. Matt Mitrione defeated the man in the co-main event, Roy Nelson, to get to this point. Matt Mitrione, he is a legitimate 255-pounder. He's a legit heavyweight. Ryan Bader, he is a light heavyweight. He may walk around at about 220, but Matt Mitrione, coming into this fight, he will probably be weighing a little over 245, 270, 265. So it comes down to who's gonna do, what? It comes down to basically size, and I just don't think Ryan Bader can handle Matt Mitrione's size. Ryan Bader is an all-around collegiate wrestler. He can take down almost all of his opponents. But can he take down a man who's coming in and weighed in at 255 pounds? This is going to pose some threats. He's got some power in his hands. He also does have a loss to Tito Ortiz, which I'm not trying to diminish Tito Ortiz, but he did lose to Tito Ortiz when Tito Ortiz was on probably an 8-fight losing streak, and Ryan Bader was his first victory in almost 8 fights. Matt Mitrione, he has been on a tear. He has recently knocked out the legend in Fedor Emelianenko. He defeated Roy Nelson. He defeated several people before that. I can't remember each and every single one of their names, but he is currently 13-5. He has been on a tear in Bellator, and he's looking to move on in this tournament. And if I have a pick, and if I have to put my money on someone, I'm saying Matt Mitrione knocks out Ryan Bader tonight, and Matt Mitrione is moving on to the finals. Who he fights in those finals, who he takes on in those finals, we're going to find out. And we're going to find out tomorrow night, Saturday night, when Chael Sonnen, the American gangster, takes on the Last Emperor. So let's get to that card. Let's get to tomorrow night's card. Let's get to round 3. Alright, we're on to Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen. It's Chael P. Sonnen, the American gangster, taking on Fedor, the Last Emperor, Emelianenko, the man who's still looking for his pride glory. He's about 46 and a little over the hill right now. But let's kick things off and let's talk about this exciting matchup between Czech Congo and Timothy Johnson. Oh my goodness. Let's move on to the next fight. We've got Alexander Shlemenko. Those of you who don't know who he is, ladies and gentlemen, this man was popped for smoking pot, suspended, fought in Russia, took out some people. I think he was suspended for something else afterwards. But he is taking on Anatoly Tokov. It is Russia versus Russia. It is Savage versus Savage. It is Beast versus Beast. It is who is gonna win this fight. 26-2 versus 56-10. That is insane. 56-10. This man has fought 66 times in his career. And he is not even 40. And he is taking on the young up-and-coming Anatoly Tokov, who is 26-2 in the middleweight feature fight. This is a hell of a fight, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who have never seen Alexander Shlemenko, he is the former middleweight champion of the world. He is taking on a tough up-and-coming guy who's only lost twice in his career. This is a hell of a fight. I don't even want to pick it because I'm just excited. This is going to be a barn burner. Alexander Shlemenko, sure, he did lose to Tito Ortiz, which seems to be the trend these days. Tito Ortiz happens to get a victory over somebody. But I'm not crapping on Tito. I'm a huge Tito fan. Respect to Tito. He's the reason as to why I watch this sport right now. Alexander Shlemenko, Anatoly Tokov. Ladies and gentlemen, if I'm going to have to pick somebody, I'm going with Anatoly Tokov simply because he looks like a killer in this picture right here. Alexander looks like he smoked a blunt and he's just been chilling in the corner right now. So I'm picking Anatoly Tokov. That's not some breakdown fight science right there. That's just straight up what I see picture-wise. But if we're going to say, in terms of skill-wise, who is better, I've seen Shlemenko fight. He's got the wrestling, he's got the stand-up, he's got the cardio, he has got the heart to go. Anatoly Tokov, I don't think I've seen him fight. I can't answer you honestly if I've seen him compete or not. So, based off his 26-2 record, I know he's got a ton of knockout victories. I know this is going to be a stand-up battle. This, at the end of the day, is going to come down to who has more power. Who's going to finish who? I don't even want to pick because I just want to see some excitement. And I think this is going to deliver. This is going to deliver tomorrow night. Let's see what happens. Let's see who's next. Benson Henderson, we know him. Former UFC lightweight champion, lost to Anthony Pettis in their rematch from the classic WEC matchup, which was the kick off the cage. Benson Henderson, he's taking Saad Awad, who is no joke in the Bellator cage. He has been there for quite some time, and he's been in some big fights. He's also been pretty much on a win streak lately. He is looking to move into up in this division, and a win over Benson Henderson solidifies this. A win for Benson Henderson shows the world that he's just been exhausted and he's been tired, and his last couple of losses have simply just been due to that. He needed time to recover. He needed time to himself. He's been fighting often. He's been fighting a lot more than he's used to, and he just needed time to get healthy and to refocus and to come back and to do what he loves best. Benson Henderson, Saad Awad is 25-8 versus 23-9. This is between two guys who are right now, they're at that level of where you're either going to move up and potentially get a title shot, or you're just going to be that journeyman. And right now, Benson Henderson, former champion, he's looking at that journeyman status. He used to be an undefeated phenom who no one could submit. But since then, with his moves to the welterweight division, he's had some struggles. It's been a tough journey for him. It's been a tough test for him. Sadawad, he's always been a lightweight, and he's been struggling with the tough guys and the pit bulls and the Mike Chandlers and the Brett Permises. He's been having a tough time in beating the top contenders. And this fight, he's gonna fight a guy who's gonna most likely try to wrestle him. How good is Sadawad's wrestling? We're gonna truly find out, because he's fought some strikers in his last couple of fights, and his wrestling hasn't looked too solid when he's gone up against the wrestlers. And Benson Henderson is going to put that pressure on him. If I'm going to have to make a suggestion, I truly do believe that Benson Henderson's going to submit Sadawad. He's going to take him down, he's going to end up getting his back, and he's going to end up finishing the fight by submission. Sorry about that. By submission. Now, the fight that I cannot wait to see. It is the fight that we have been waiting for. It has been a hell of a month of October. It has been a hell of an event so far. A month thus far. We've had the Khabib McGregor fight. We've had the Pettis versus Tony Ferguson fight. And now we're going at it again. It is Russia versus America. It is Fedor, the Last Emperor, taking on Chael, the American gangster Sonnen. I cannot keep repeating this any more than I have. It is 37-5, the pride of legend, the legend of pride, the man who defeated the undefeatable, the man who was undefeated for over 10 years and could not be stopped, taking on the man who took Anderson Silva to the limit twice. A man who almost defeated Anderson Silva twice, but due to Anderson Silva's resortment to cheating in the second fight, Chael P unfortunately did not get the victory, and in the first fight, Anderson Silva pulled off a last-minute submission over a heavily juiced Chael P. Sonnen. Whatever happened, you know what happens, it happens. Some people like to take some steroids to try and get ahead. So here we are, this is the heavyweight Grand Prix semi-final. Winner takes on the winner, Matt Mitrione, Ryan Bader. We've got a true heavyweight, somewhat true heavyweight, he weighs 225 about. Chael P. Sonnen, according to this thing, weighs about 265. I don't believe that. He used to fight at 185. He fought at 205. There's absolutely no chance that he's currently weighing 265 pounds. He is always in shape. He is always ready to go. This man is comes from a wrestling background. He is a man who is known how to train correctly, push his body to the limit in order to get himself into the peak physical condition that he has to be. Cardio unmatched due to his wrestling prowess. Fedor, he is a stand-up specialist. He's had some trouble in the past with some wrestlers. He's been taken down. He's been subbed by Verdum. He's been stopped by Bigfoot Silva. He's also been defeated by Matt Mitrione by knockout. So Fedor's chin has been tested over the years, and it has been shown that it has been diminishing. The battles he's been in, your body can't go and have that many battles over the years. Eventually, you're gonna tire out, and you're gonna get hurt, and you're not gonna be able to compete at the same level you once competed at. Chael P, he's been lucky. He hasn't been in those wars. He's been in mostly wrestling combat. He's been taking people down and usually getting submitted. I don't see Fedor subbing him. I don't see Fedor knocking him out. What I can see is Chael taking him down, and Chael taking him down over and over again for 3 rounds and moving on in the tournament. I can see Chael versus Matt Mitrione in the finals. And if you're gonna ask, and if I'm gonna tell you who's winning, I'm sticking with Chael, and that's not a biased opinion. That just because on paper Chael looks like the better fighter than Fedor, and that's what's happened over the course of Fedor's career. Fedor has always looked like the limited fighter compared to his opponents. When he's taken on Crow Cop, Kevin Randleman, when he took on Fabio Maladano, when he took on Verdum, when he took on Silva, when he took on Brett Rogers, when he took on Wanderlei Silva. The list goes on in the opponents that Fedor's taken on, and he's always been the dog. And in this fight, he's no different. He's going to be walking in here as a dog. His only advantage is that he is a bit heavier than Chael P. At the end of the day, it's 30-15-1 versus 37-5. It is a man who at one point was undefeated and had never lost to anybody, taking on a man who easily gets subbed. And seeing as how Chael's not fighting a submission specialist, I'm going to have to side with Chael on this point. This is going to be the equivalent of what happened last week, Khabib versus McGregor. Chael will be playing the role of Khabib, and Fedor will be playing the role of McGregor. It is the mystique of Fedor taking on the grappling specialist in Chael P. That's my picks. That's 3 rounds with Jay this week. If you liked what you saw, if you loved the picks, if you made some money last week, like and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back here next Friday with another 3 rounds with Jay. Leave a comment. Let me know what's going on. Let me know how well you did last week. Let me know what you thought of the fights last week. Let me know where you plan on watching the fights this week, and let me know at the end of the day just what's going on with you. Everything else, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it's all at the bottom. Check them out. Follow. I post there constantly. We can keep in contact. Let me know what's up. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next week. This is Jay Pooch with 3 rounds with Jay. Peace.